When Officer Mark Jensen followed his K9 partner into the woods that night, he thought it was just another false alarm, a noise complaint, maybe a stray animal. But what his dog found beneath the old oak tree defied every law of nature. Rex wouldn't stop barking, clawing, growling, desperate, until Mark finally saw it. A massive, pulsating lump growing from the trunk, warm to the touch, and faintly moving that he took out his knife to cut it open. And within seconds, his entire world stopped. The radio crackled with static as dusk settled over the forest. Unit 12, reports of strange noises near Black Creek Trail. Investigate and confirm. Officer Mark Jensen sighed, glancing at his K9 partner. Guess it's just you and me again, Rex. The two moved through the thinning light, the crunch of leaves beneath their boots the only sound. Mist clung low to the ground, and the smell of damp bark thickened the air. Rex's ears twitched. He began to growl, muscles coiling. Mark lifted his flashlight. What is it, boy? Ahead, an ancient oak loomed, massive, gnarled, its trunk bulging with a dark, swollen lump that glistened under the beam. Sap, or something like it, trickled down like black tears. Rex barked once, sharp and furious, then again, louder, pacing in a frantic circle. Mark's pulse quickened. Easy, he muttered, stepping closer. The tree seemed to hum, a faint vibration running through the ground. Rex lunged, teeth bared, barking straight at the trunk, and that's when Mark noticed it. The surface of the bark moving. Something inside the tree was alive. Rex wouldn't stop barking. Each growl echoed through the forest like thunder, bouncing off the trees. His fur bristled, claws digging deep into the dirt as he circled the massive oak. Rex, sit, Mark commanded, but the dog ignored him. Something primal had taken over. The sound was no longer just alert, it was warning. Desperate, Mark stepped forward, flashlight trembling slightly in his grip. The dark lump pulsed faintly, like something beneath the bark was breathing. He reached out, placing his gloved hand against the trunk. It was warm. Too warm. The officer pulled back instantly, heart pounding. What the hell? He whispered. He looked closer. The surface wasn't solid. It shifted. Tiny cracks spread like veins through the lump, sap oozing thick and black. Rex barked harder, pawing at the roots, whining in agitation. Then came the smell, rotten, metallic, like decaying flesh mixed with earth. Mark covered his nose, stepping back. Dispatch, this is Unit 12, static. No response. Rex snarled suddenly, lunging again, jaws snapping at the bark, and that's when Mark saw it. Faint scratch marks etched into the wood, running upward like claw trails. He aimed the flashlight higher and froze. There were handprints, small, human, embedded in the bark. Mark's breath hitched. The handprints were pressed deep into the bark, tiny, desperate, like someone had clawed to get out. Rex whimpered low, pacing in tight circles, tail stiff as a board. Mark raised his knife. All right, easy, boy. I just need to see what's in there. The first cut sent a wet, sickening sound through the silence. The bark peeled like skin, oozing thick black sap that dripped onto his boots. The smell hit him, foul, metallic, unbearable. He cut again, deeper. The wood gave way with a soft crack, revealing something pale beneath. Mark shone his flashlight closer, and nearly dropped it. A human hand. Small, cold. Jesus, he stumbled back, adrenaline surging. Rex barked and lunged, pawing at the base of the trunk. Mark hesitated, then pressed his fingers against the exposed skin. It was cold, but soft. Not decayed. He sliced the opening wider, his flashlight shaking in his grip. And then he saw it fully. A boy, maybe 10 years old, encased inside the tree's hollow center, sap sealing him like amber. His eyes fluttered faintly, a weak breath fogging the air. Mark staggered back, voice trembling. He's alive. Rex barked once, sharp, urgent, as if shouting the same truth. The forest had swallowed a child whole. Hang on, kid, Mark shouted, slashing through the sticky layers of bark and sap. Each slice released a hiss, like the tree itself was groaning in pain. Rex barked beside him, circling, then darting toward the roots, digging furiously. The boy's lips were blue, his chest barely moving. Come on, Mark muttered, pulling harder until the final section tore free with a wet rip. He caught the boy's limp body before it hit the ground. The child was ice cold, his clothes soaked in dark resin. "Rex, stay close," Mark commanded, wrapping his jacket around the boy. He grabbed his radio. "Dispatch, I have a live minor. Repeat, a live child. I need immediate evac from Black Creek Trail." Static. Nothing but static. Rex's ears flicked back. A low growl rumbled in his throat. Mark froze. "What is it?" The forest was dead silent. Until a branch cracked behind them. Mark turned the flashlight. A shadow shifted between the trees. Tall, still, watching. "Who's there?" he shouted. No answer. Just the faint crunch of footsteps retreating. Then, in the beam's edge, he caught a glimpse. A figure covered in mud and bark, its face hidden beneath something that looked like a mask. Carved from the same tree, Rex barked wildly. The thing vanished into the dark. Mark's heart pounded in his chest. He could feel eyes on him, watching, studying. Rex growled low, tail rigid, teeth bared at the darkness. "Stay behind me," Mark muttered, clutching the boy tighter as he backed toward the trail. Then, a whisper cut through the cold air. "You shouldn't have opened it." Mark spun around. A man emerged from the trees, tall, drenched in mud, his face hidden beneath a mask carved from bark. His clothes were torn, caked with sap. He looked less human and more part of the forest. "I said stay back," Mark shouted, gun raised. The man tilted his head. "He belonged to the tree," he rasped. "You freed what it claimed." Mark steadied his aim. "He's a child. Someone trapped him." The man smiled, a slow, cracked grin. "The forest feeds. Always has." Rex lunged, snarling. The masked man stumbled back, slashing wildly with a jagged branch before bolting into the dark. Mark fired once into the air, the echo tearing through the silence. When it faded, the forest went eerily quiet again. No wind, no birds, nothing. Only Rex's heavy breathing, and the faint sound of something large moving beneath the roots. By sunrise, emergency crews filled the forest clearing. The boy had been stabilized, pale but breathing. As medics carried him away, Officer Mark Jensen stood silently beside the tree. Rex pressed close against his leg. The massive oak now stood split open, its insides hollow, the air around it heavy with the stench of rot and something older. Something unnatural. A rescue worker shouted from the roots. "Sir, you need to see this." Mark crouched down. The soil had crumbled, revealing bones. Dozens of them. Small skeletons tangled in roots like they'd been grown into the ground. "Dear God," he whispered. An evidence tech approached. "These are human remains, some decades old." Mark stared at the tree's core, the bark glistening faintly, sap dripping like tears. "How long has it been feeding?" Later, at the hospital, the boy woke briefly. His eyes fluttered open, voice faint as wind. The man said the forest was hungry. "He feeds it." Mark froze. "Who feeds it?" The boy's gaze drifted to the window, toward the endless stretch of woods beyond. That night, back at Black Creek, the camera pans slowly through the forest. Wind howls softly. In the distance, another tree stands alone, its trunk bulging, its surface shifting. A child's muffled voice whispers faintly from within, "Please, don't cut it open."